Henry David Thoreau. Henry David Thoreau was born on July 12, 1817 in a farmhouse in Concord, Massachusetts. He was named David Henry Thoreau, but during college he changed it to Henry David Thoreau. He lived in Concord most of his life. He is considered to be one of the founding fathers of the modern-day environmental movement. Thoreau practiced transcendentalism. What is transcendentalism? The main ideas of transcendentalism are: it is particularly interested in the natural world and its relationship to humanity. They believe that if they explore nature thoroughly, they would come to know themselves and universal truths more thoroughly. They think that the human spirit is reflected in nature. Thoreau wrote the books Walden and Civil Disobedience. Walden contains the ideas and observations he had while living at Walden Pond. Civil disobedience was a reaction to being jailed for not paying taxes.
Thoreau had three siblings, two older and one younger. His family moved to Boston, where his father owned a grocery store from 1818 to 1821. In the spring of 1821, his family moved to Pope's house in Boston's South End. In 1822, Henry started his education at Phoebe Wheeler's Girls' School because the town primary school had closed for the term. He also made his first visit to Walden Pond in 1822. By 1826, the family moved back to Concord. In December of 1828, Henry enrolled in the Concord Academy. He graduated from high school at age 14. Thoreau then attended Harvard from 1833 to 1837. He graduated in the top half of his class.
There's a moment that'll take your breath away in the woods.
Around the time of his graduation, Thoreau was in a crowded room listening to a speech given by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Henry was captivated and spoke with Emerson afterwards. Emerson became a friend and mentor to Thoreau. Emerson told Thoreau that he should write in a journal every day. Thoreau did this for the rest of his life. Thoreau chose to be a teacher after college. He began his teaching career at the Concord Public School, but resigned after 2 weeks. He disagreed with the superintendent's support of corporal punishment to discipline children.
Blazing skies October dreams. You can fly
In 1838, Thoreau and his brother John started their own school in Concord, but they had to close it when John endured a lengthy illness and Henry could not run the school by himself. Henry went back to working at his family's pencil factory. He did not like working there, but that was what was available, and in the best interest of the family.
the royal throne of an eagle's nest.
Eventually, Thoreau went to work as a live-in handyman for Ralph Waldo Emerson, his mentor and friend. There he learned a lot about transcendentalism.
And October dreams.
In 1845, Thoreau got permission to live on Emerson's land and build a house there. He bought building supplies, a chicken coop, and built a small house, moving in on the 4th of July. He had two main purposes to moving to the pond. He wanted to write a book, and he wanted to conduct an experiment to see if it was possible to live by working one day and devoting the other 6 to more transcendental concerns. He wanted to be close to nature and to live simply. He said, "Life is frittered away by details. Simplify, simplify."
Of an autumn day in the woods.
Thoreau believed it was better to be alone in nature and to build what you need yourself. He grew and gathered his own food, water, wood, and built his own furniture in addition to his house. He spent 2 years and 2 months in the house that he built at Walden Pond. While he preferred to be alone in nature, Henry did have friends and acquaintances who dropped by occasionally. However, he believed that being around people constantly was not only unnecessary, but could be unfulfilling. Thoreau said, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation." By this, he meant that most people live their lives unhappily in their day-to-day activities and inwardly wish life could change, but feel they are trapped by circumstances and material things with desperate undertones.
Except the love between you and me. In this
Thoreau spent one night in jail for refusing to pay a poll tax that supported the Mexican-American War, which he opposed.
winter night,
This experience was the basis for the book Civil Disobedience. This book led to many other acts of civil disobedience, such as those of Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and the sit-ins during the 60s and 70s.
Henry was also an abolitionist, working to end slavery and becoming a part of the Underground Railroad, which helped escaped slaves make their way to freedom.
And a time to push the cost away.
After 2 years and 2 months of living at Walden Pond, Thoreau moved back to Emerson's house, where he lived there for 2 years and wrote the book Walden and kept a journal
The
daily.
greatest gift I know for any man is finding peace and a loving hand.
Henry David Thoreau died in May of 1862. He died of tuberculosis, which he had been afflicted with ever since his college days. He left many unfinished writings behind, but also left a legacy, which was summed up by Ralph Waldo Emerson during Thoreau's funeral. Our country knows not yet or in the least part how great of a son it has lost. His soul was made for the noblest society. He had in a short life exhausted the capabilities of this world. Wherever there is knowledge, wherever there is virtue, wherever there is beauty, he will find a home.
Just one more day, and give my thanks as you fly away to